What if I told you that the world's oldest temple, built 11,600 years ago by people who weren't supposed to have writing, astronomy, or civilization, has been hiding a message, a warning carved into stone that predates the pyramids by 7,000 years? And what if that message was finally decoded, revealing something that changes everything we thought we knew about human history? Deep in the hills of southeastern Turkey stands Göbekli Tepe, a monument so ancient, so advanced, and so mysterious that archaeologists initially refused to believe what they were seeing. Massive T-shaped pillars weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in precise circles, covered with intricate carvings of animals, symbols, and abstract shapes that have puzzled researchers for decades. For 30 years, experts assumed these carvings were decorative, primitive art with no deeper meaning. But recent breakthrough analysis has revealed something shocking. These aren't random images. They're a sophisticated symbolic language, a system of communication that records astronomical events, tracks catastrophic disasters, and possibly warns future generations about humanity's greatest threat. The symbols tell a story, and that story is absolutely terrifying because it describes an apocalyptic event that wiped out an advanced civilization, plunging humanity into darkness for thousands of years. And the truly disturbing part, the conditions that caused that catastrophe are building again, right now. If you're ready to discover what ancient builders carved into stone 11,600 years ago and why it should terrify us today, hit that subscribe button. What we're about to reveal will shake everything you thought you knew about prehistory. In 1963, a team surveying southeastern Turkey noticed unusual limestone formations jutting from a hilltop. Local farmers had known about the site for generations, calling it Potbelly Hill. They assumed the stones were part of an old Byzantine cemetery and largely ignored them. It wasn't until 1994 that German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt recognized what he was seeing. These weren't random rocks. They were carved pillars deliberately buried beneath tons of earth. Schmidt began excavations that would continue for the rest of his life, uncovering a site that rewrote human history. What he found defied every archaeological assumption. Massive stone structures built around 9,600 BCE, before pottery, before metallurgy, before agriculture, before permanent settlements. This was constructed by hunter-gatherers during the Stone Age. According to everything we thought we knew, this was impossible. The site consists of at least 20 circular enclosures, though only a fraction has been excavated. Each circle contains massive T-shaped pillars, some reaching 18 feet tall and weighing 20 tons, arranged with precise astronomical alignments. The pillars are covered with detailed carvings: scorpions, foxes, vultures, snakes, lions, and strange symbols that appear repeatedly across different structures. The scale stunned archaeologists. Moving stones, this massive without wheels, metal tools, or draft animals, required coordination, planning, and social organization that supposedly didn't exist yet. Göbekli Tepe forced a complete reassessment of human capabilities during the Neolithic period. The pillars of Göbekli Tepe are covered with hundreds of carved symbols. At first glance, they appear to be artistic representations of animals and abstract shapes. But the patterns are too consistent, too deliberate, too carefully positioned to be mere decoration. Certain symbols appear repeatedly across multiple enclosures. The H symbol, two parallel vertical lines connected by a horizontal bar, shows up on numerous pillars. Circles, crescents, and what appear to be celestial objects are carved with precision. V-shaped formations, possibly representing birds in flight, appear in specific arrangements. The animal carvings themselves follow unusual patterns. Scorpions appear prominently, often positioned near other specific symbols. Vultures are depicted in aggressive postures, sometimes holding circular objects. Snakes wind around pillars in deliberate patterns. These aren't random wildlife portraits. They're positioned with intentional meaning. One pillar, known as the Vulture Stone, or Pillar 43, contains the densest concentration of symbols. A large scorpion dominates the lower section. Above it, a vulture holds a circular object. Surrounding these are various animals and abstract shapes, arranged in what appears to be a deliberate sequence. For decades, researchers debated what this pillar depicted, until breakthrough analysis revealed its true purpose. The symbols use a consistent visual language. Similar shapes appear in similar contexts across different structures. This suggests a standardized system of communication, essentially proto-writing thousands of years before cuneiform or hieroglyphics. In 2017, researchers at the University of Edinburgh made a startling discovery. Dr. Martin Sweatman and his team analyzed the symbols using archaeoastronomy, the study of how ancient cultures understood and recorded celestial phenomena. What they found changed everything. The symbols aren't artistic, they're astronomical. The animal carvings represent constellations. The abstract shapes mark celestial coordinates. The Vulture Stone is actually a star map, recording specific positions of constellations at a precise moment in time. Using computer software to recreate the night sky as it appeared 11,600 years ago, researchers matched the carved symbols to actual constellations. The scorpion corresponds to Scorpius. The vulture represents Sagittarius or Aquila. Other animals map to additional constellations. The circular object the vulture holds likely represents the sun. The arrangement of these symbols marks the position of the sky during a specific astronomical event. But identifying the symbols as constellations was just the beginning. The truly shocking revelation came when researchers determined when this sky configuration occurred. Computer models calculated that the exact arrangement depicted on Pillar 43 matches the night sky around 10,950 BCE, during a period known as the Younger Dryas impact event. This wasn't just an astronomical record. It was a memorial, a warning, a desperate attempt by survivors to ensure future generations understood what had happened. The symbols describe a catastrophic cosmic event that nearly ended human civilization. The Younger Dryas period, 10,900 to 9,700 BCE, represents one of the most mysterious and catastrophic climate events in recent geological history. Earth was emerging from the last ice age when suddenly, inexplicably, temperatures plunged back into ice age conditions for over 1,000 years. Megafauna went extinct. Human populations crashed. Then, just as suddenly, the cold ended and rapid warming resumed. For decades, scientists couldn't explain what caused this climate reversal. Traditional theories suggested glacial lake drainage or ocean current disruptions. But evidence kept pointing towards something more violent, a cosmic impact. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis proposes that a fragmented comet struck Earth around 10,900 BCE. Multiple fragments hit ice sheets covering North America and Europe, causing massive melting, wildfires, and atmospheric disruption. The impacts would have created fireballs visible across much of the Northern Hemisphere, followed by climate chaos lasting centuries. Evidence supporting this theory has accumulated steadily. Geological layers from this period contain unusual materials, nanodiamonds, formed only under extreme pressure, magnetic spherules, created by cosmic impacts, platinum anomalies, and a black matte layer indicating widespread fires. Impact craters from this period have been identified, including the massive Hiawatha crater beneath Greenland's ice sheet. The Göbekli Tepe symbols appear to record this event. The positioning of constellations on Pillar 43 marks the date. The imagery of falling objects, destructive animals, and chaos reflects the catastrophe. The entire complex may have been built as a memorial to ensure survivors never forgot what destroyed their world. If Göbekli Tepe commemorates a global catastrophe that occurred 12,900 years ago, a disturbing question emerges. Who built this monument? Hunter-gatherers living in caves shouldn't have possessed the astronomical knowledge, engineering capability, or organizational structure to create something this sophisticated. This suggests a controversial possibility. An advanced civilization existed before the Younger Dryas impact. A society with astronomical knowledge, architectural skill, and technological capabilities that was largely destroyed by the catastrophe. Göbekli Tepe wasn't built by primitive survivors. It was built by the remnants of a more advanced culture, desperately preserving their knowledge before it was lost forever. Graham Hancock and other researchers have long argued for a lost civilization destroyed by cataclysm around 12,000 years ago. Göbekli Tepe provides tangible evidence supporting this theory. The site's sophistication suggests builders possessed inherited knowledge from an earlier, more advanced society. Additional evidence worldwide points to pre-flood civilizations. Underwater ruins off Japan's coast, India, and the Mediterranean date to periods when these areas were above sea level, before catastrophic sea level rise. Myths from cultures worldwide describe advanced antediluvian societies destroyed by flood, fire, and cosmic disaster. The Göbekli Tepe builders may have been survivors, carrying fragments of lost knowledge. They constructed the monument to preserve what they knew, encoding astronomical data and warnings into stone that would survive millennia. Then they deliberately buried the entire complex, ensuring its preservation for a future generation advanced enough to decode the message. One of Göbekli Tepe's most baffling aspects is that the builders deliberately buried it. The site wasn't abandoned and slowly covered by natural processes. It was intentionally filled with tons of earth and rubble, carefully sealed beneath the ground. Why would a society invest enormous effort building this monument, then immediately bury it? Archaeological evidence shows the burial was planned and systematic. Clean, filled dirt, carefully placed stones, no signs of destruction or abandonment. Someone wanted to preserve these structures intact beneath the earth. Several theories attempt to explain this. Perhaps the site served its purpose, commemorating the catastrophe and preserving the knowledge. Once complete, burial ensured protection from weathering and future destruction. Or perhaps deteriorating conditions made the site untenable. Climate change, resource depletion, or social collapse forced abandonment, but builders buried it intentionally as a time capsule. The most intriguing theory suggests the burial was prophetic. If the builders believed the catastrophe could recur, they might have sealed the evidence underground, where future civilizations, survivors of the next cataclysm, would eventually discover it and understand the warning. This explains why only portions have been excavated despite decades of work. Ground-penetrating radar reveals at least 20 additional circular structures still buried. Archaeologists estimate 95% of the site remains underground. What other knowledge lies waiting beneath those unexcavated areas? Here's where the story becomes truly unsettling. The symbols decoded at Göbekli Tepe don't just describe a past disaster, they contain a warning. The astronomical positions recorded suggest the builders understood celestial mechanics well enough to track comet orbits and predict future impacts. Research published in the Mediterranean Archaeology and Archaeometry Journal argues that Göbekli Tepe functioned as an astronomical observatory. The pillar arrangements align with solstices, equinoxes, and specific stellar positions. The complex tracked celestial movements across centuries, monitoring for the return of dangerous objects. Modern astronomy confirms that Earth passes through debris streams from fragmented comets regularly. The Taurid meteor stream, associated with comet Enki, produces annual meteor showers, but it also contains larger objects capable of causing regional or global catastrophes. Scientists estimate the Taurid stream may contain hundreds of kilometer-sized objects, some in Earth-crossing orbits. Several researchers, including astronomer Bill Napier and physicist Victor Klube, have warned that we may currently be entering a particularly dense region of the Taurid stream. Between 2030 and 2040, Earth's orbit will bring us through the debris field's core. Most objects will burn up harmlessly, but statistical probability suggests larger impacts become increasingly likely. The Göbekli Tepe builders may have experienced previous encounters with this debris stream. Their warning, encoded in stone, tells us this has happened before, and it will happen again. The question isn't if, it's when. The scientific community takes asteroid and comet threats seriously. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office tracks near-Earth objects, cataloging anything that might pose collision risk. Current databases list over 30,000 near-Earth asteroids, with hundreds classified as potentially hazardous. But tracking isn't perfect. Objects approaching from the sun's direction are difficult to detect. Long-period comets from the outer solar system can appear with little warning. In 2013, the Chelyabinsk meteor exploded over Russia with no advanced detection, injuring over 1,600 people. That object was only 20 meters across. A Younger Dryas scale impact would involve objects hundreds or thousands of times larger. Recent discoveries concern scientists. In 2019, Comet Borisov, an interstellar visitor, passed through our solar system. Its trajectory was unpredictable until it was already close. If such an object were on collision course, we'd have minimal warning and no current capability to deflect it. The Göbekli Tepe warning suggests ancient observers understood these risks. They tracked celestial movements, identified dangerous patterns, and tried to warn future generations. Their message, cosmic threats are real, cyclical, and capable of ending civilizations. Modern technology gives us advantages ancient peoples lacked: detection systems, space telescopes, theoretical deflection capabilities. But we also have more to lose. A Younger Dryas scale impact today wouldn't just affect primitive tribes, it would collapse global civilization. Destroying infrastructure humanity depends on for survival. Göbekli Tepe's message isn't isolated. Cultures worldwide preserve myths describing catastrophic destruction from the sky. These stories, traditionally dismissed as mythology, may contain historical memory of actual events. Plato described Atlantis destroyed by earthquakes and floods in a single day and night. Native American legends tell of sky fires and great floods. Aboriginal Australian stories describe sky rocks falling to Earth. Hindu texts describe cosmic battles and world-ending fires. Norse mythology recounts Ragnarok, world destruction by fire and ice. The Epic of Gilgamesh, Sumerian flood myths, and the biblical flood narrative all describe global catastrophe destroying advanced pre-flood civilizations. These stories share remarkable similarities, despite originating from cultures separated by vast distances and time periods. Modern archaeology increasingly validates these myths as historical accounts. Evidence of massive floods, sudden climate shifts, and cosmic impacts around 12,000 years ago suggests these stories preserve genuine memories of catastrophic events transmitted through countless generations. Göbekli Tepe provides physical evidence connecting these myths to historical reality. The decoded symbols describe the event that spawned global catastrophe legends. Ancient peoples weren't imagining disasters, they were remembering them, encoding warnings in myth, symbol, and stone. Only 5% of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated. Ground-penetrating radar and magnetic surveys reveal at least 15 additional circular structures buried beneath the site. What knowledge remains hidden in those unexcavated areas? Some researchers believe deeper layers contain even older structures. If Göbekli Tepe commemorates the Younger Dryas impact, earlier levels might record previous catastrophes. The site could be a multi-layered archive documenting humanity's catastrophic history across millennia. Turkish authorities have restricted excavation pace to ensure proper preservation and study. Full excavation could take over a century at current speed. Meanwhile, weathering threatens exposed structures. Some archaeologists argue for accelerated excavation before critical information is lost. What might deeper levels reveal? More detailed star maps, mathematical formulas, records of the lost civilization that preceded the Younger Dryas. The sophistication of already exposed areas suggests more advanced knowledge lies buried deeper. Each excavation layer has revealed increasing complexity, implying the deepest, oldest sections may contain the most crucial information. The deliberate burial suggests builders wanted future civilizations to find this. Perhaps technological advancement is required to decode deeper messages. Maybe we're only now sophisticated enough to understand what they preserved for us. As our investigation concludes, we're left with a sobering realization. Göbekli Tepe isn't just an archaeological curiosity, it's a message in a bottle thrown across 11,600 years of time. The decoded symbols tell a terrifying story. An advanced civilization existed, possessed sophisticated astronomical knowledge, and was nearly annihilated by cosmic catastrophe. The builders encoded their warning in stone because they understood something we're only now rediscovering. Cosmic threats are real, cyclical, and capable of ending everything we've built. They watched their world burn. They saw civilization collapse. They spent their remaining resources ensuring future humans would understand what destroyed them and recognize the signs if it threatened to happen again. The truly terrifying aspect isn't what happened 12,900 years ago. It's that conditions for similar events exist today. We pass through the same cosmic debris streams. Earth orbits the same dangerous space. The mechanisms that nearly ended humanity then still operate now. But unlike the builders of Göbekli Tepe, we possess technology to detect threats and potentially deflect them. We have the capability to ensure their warning doesn't go unheeded. The question is whether we're paying attention. Perhaps that's the ultimate message carved into those ancient pillars. Vigilance matters. Watching the skies isn't paranoia. It's wisdom earned through catastrophic experience. The builders couldn't save their world, but they tried to save ours by ensuring we understood the danger.